If you grew up with a narcissistic parent, healing doesn't feel like relief at first. It feels disorienting. You're not just grieving what happened, you're grieving what never existed. And that's harder to name, because on the outside, things may have looked fine, but internally, you learned early that love came with conditions. This wound isn't about occasional selfishness. It's about emotional reality being dismissed, minimized, or redirected back to the parent. Your feelings weren't met. They were managed. Your needs weren't held. They were inconvenient. Psychologically, this teaches a child one core lesson. My inner world doesn't matter unless it serves someone else. That belief doesn't disappear when you grow up. It just gets better at hiding. Adults with this wound often look functional, high-achieving, self-aware. But internally, there's a constant calibration happening. Am I being too much? Am I allowed to need this? Am I about to disappoint someone? You may over-explain. You may feel responsible for other people's emotions. You may oscillate between craving approval and resenting it. These aren't flaws. They're learned adaptations. This is where generic advice does real damage. You can't heal a wound you were never allowed to acknowledge. Forgiveness without validation just recreates the original dynamic. Your nervous system doesn't need you to be spiritually advanced. It needs you to be honest. Healing starts when you stop asking, "Was it really that bad?" and start asking, "How did it shape me?" If this is putting words to something you've felt but never named, like the video, it helps this channel reach people quietly carrying this kind of history. And subscribe if you want psychology-based guidance that doesn't minimize real experiences. Healing this wound isn't about fixing your parent. It's about reclaiming your internal authority. That starts with 3 shifts. First, separating your worth from performance. You learned love was earned. Healing means practicing being valued without proving. Second, learning to tolerate other people's disappointment. As a child, disappointment felt dangerous. As an adult, it's survivable, even necessary. Third, reparenting your emotional experience. That means responding to your feelings with curiosity instead of judgment. Asking, "What do I need right now?" without immediately dismissing the answer. Boundaries trigger guilt because they contradict your original role. You were trained to prioritize the parent's emotional comfort, so choosing yourself feels like betrayal. That guilt isn't a moral signal, it's a conditioning echo. Each time you set a boundary and nothing catastrophic happens, your nervous system updates, slowly, repeatedly. There's a grief phase many people skip. Grief for the parent you needed but didn't have. Grief for the childhood version of you who adapted too early. This grief isn't indulgent, it's corrective. You can't heal what you refuse to mourn. Healing from a narcissistic parent wound isn't about becoming colder or harder. It's about becoming more real. You stop performing for love. You stop shrinking to keep the peace. You start trusting your internal signals again. Not all at once, but enough to feel like you're finally living from the inside out.